like to call to order the Temple City City Council regular meeting for May 7th, 2019. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Mann.
Here.
Councilmember Sternquist.
Here.
Councilmember Hughes absent. Mayor Pro Tem Chavez.
Here.
Mayor Fish.
Here.
Motion to excuse Councilmember Yu.
Second.
Thank you. I would like to move on to our invocation. I would like to introduce Jim Walden, from First Baptist Church, located at 6019 Baldwin Avenue, who will provide the invocation. If we could please stand and remain standing, our Sheriff Captain David Flores will afterwards lead us in the flag salute.
Let's pray. Father, we cannot thank you enough for how good you have been to us. What a great winter we've had with the rain that we've needed, and how cool this spring is. And Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather together as a city and to discuss so many important things. Thank you for this council and the leadership here. Each council member matters to you, and so does everyone in this city. Thank you for watching over us, and we ask for wisdom as well as protection, especially as our schools wrap up another school year, that your hand of protection would be on our students and our teachers. Thank you, Father, for being so good and for what you will do and how you indeed have blessed America. In Jesus' name I say, amen.
Amen.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to be moving on to ceremonial matters. Pet of the Month. I would like to introduce Cindy Rigney, President of the Board of Directors, to present our Pet of the Month.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So, some of you have already met Marigold. She is little but mighty, I will say. You heard her yelp a little while ago and she just got a little twisted up. She is a teacup Chihuahua. She came in as a stray about a month ago. She is 8.5 years old and weighs all of 5.5 pounds. She is very curious. On the drive over here, her head was out the window the entire time. She's trying to figure out what's going on everywhere. She was about ready to take on the cats in our parking lot. So she's a very sweet little lap dog. I actually had not met her before tonight, and so you can tell how friendly she is. She adapts very quickly. Her Marigold, yeah. I'd like to also mention Save the Date. You may know we are in our 95th year, and we are planning our 95th anniversary celebration for October the 5th. So everyone is invited to this celebration of 95 years and the hopes for many, many, many more.
And will that be at the Humane Society?
At the Humane Society. We've got this huge property, which I hope you will all come and visit. We've got a huge piece of property that we're going to put a big event on what I call the back 40, and have
Excellent.
games for the kids, and we're talking about having a craft beer and wine festival in the evening. So we'll have something in the day for the kids, something in the evening for the adults. We've got music planned, and it should be a great event.
Great.
So hope you
Great.
can all come.
Great. If you could get us more information on that, possibly
As soon
flyers.
as I get it planned, I'm good.
Excellent. No, just because we'd like to promote it.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Cindy. Yes.
Cindy, I just want to compliment the Humane Society on the painting of the shelter. It looks so amazing. So it looks really nice.
Thank you very much. We're working on the facility. We need a lot of work. Not much has been done for so many years. We need a lot of work, let's put it that way. But we're a small but mighty shelter, and it's all for the animals. And thank you for being a loyal supporter of our shelter. We very much appreciate it. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Cindy. I'd like to move on to item B, Older American Proclamation. I would like to invite Tony Villalobos, Parks and Recreation Coordinator, and Carol Dowdy, this year's Older American to the podium.
No, go there.
Just right up there.
That way they can see and hear you.
See and hear?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll have the pictures in a minute.
Well, Carol Daugherty has been selected as this year's Older American of the Year for the city of Temple City. Carol has been a staple in Temple City for years. She's been a crossing guard, a noon aide, drove a school bus for disabled students, has been a poll worker for many elections. She has served as a facility use chairman, secretary, and president for the Temple City Historical Society. Carol has also played a part in the Senior Master Plan Committee that will shape the future of senior programming here in Temple City. Because of this and many other reasons, Carol Daugherty is our Older American of the Year. She's been recognized. She will also be recognized at a reception on May 23rd by the County of Los Angeles and also be celebrated at Live Oak Park on May 30th. So thank you, Carol, for all you have done, all you do, and all you continue to do.
Well, thank you. I'm honored that you chose me. And yes, I've been busy.
Great.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Don't leave. Don't leave. I'd like to invite my fellow council members to up for pictures.
Now they're going up there.
You can stay right here. I'm just going to read this really quickly. And we're going to take pictures because Jerry is waiting.
Oh, I know.
City of Temple City Proclamation, Older American Month. Whereas the Temple City includes a growing number of older Americans who enrich our community through their diverse life experiences, and whereas Temple City is committed to strengthening our community, we would like to give this proclamation to you, and I just want to say I am so proud of you, and I can only hope that I can continue to be as involved in the community as you are.
You're more involved than I am.
Oh, no. Oh, thank you. So we're going to come over here. Jerry, you tell us where to go. Oh, that was the wrong word. Oh, I know, but here, that's Congratulations, Carol. Okay, we're going to move on to public comments. City Council will now hear public comments regarding items not listed on the agenda. I have 3. I'm going to start off with from the library. From the library, Highland Hamilton. Okay, thank you.
Hamilton?
Thank you.
All right. So, hello again.
Hello.
Jig is still not here. I mean, she had a meeting early this morning, so I'm here in her place.
We appreciate you coming. Thank you for coming.
Sure. So our May calendar is pretty full. I'm doing a series program for kids in grades 3 through 5 called Young Authors, working on different elements of storytelling and writing short stories. Our goal is to have a little book of short stories written by them by the end of the month. And with that series, we are having an author visit by a children's picture book author named Selena Yoon. So she is coming on May 22nd, and everybody's invited to that. But I am going to be coaching the kids in the program to ask questions and kind of converse with the author so they can get to know somebody who's been published and talk to them about publishing and coming up with stories and things like that. We are also doing a series of parent-child workshops where we're having different professionals that work with parents and children throughout the community come in and do a very informal conversation with parents while their children play. So it's talking about speech, language, child development, nutrition, health, things like that. So those are on most Saturdays. This Saturday, the 11th, we are having a Chinese culture and dance program. So we're having Chinese cultural group and Chinese dance, and a lot of little girls coming in to dance in the library. And then we also will have a Mother's Day program this weekend, having children and their special caregiver mother, whoever it is, sit down together and create portraits of each other. Our summer reading is coming up. It starts June 1st. So we're having our volunteer orientation on May 21st for all of the teen volunteers that will be helping us out during summer reading or summer discovery program. So our summer discovery program is going to run June 1st through August 3rd. And we were also chosen as one of the lunch in the library locations for this year. So we will be having free lunch every weekday at the library from 12 to 1 for any children and teens in the community that want to come. So that's
Wow.
kind of to make up for
Is
them.
that all summer?
It's June 10th through, I think, August 3rd. And that's to make up for schools being closed and them not being able to get
Wow.
lunch at schools. So
That's great.
that's what's happening and what's coming up in the library.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Next up, I have Steve Stafford.
Mayor Fish, Mayor Pro Tempore Chavez, council members, and city staff. A couple council meetings ago, we discussed the possibility of doing a tax to help us with the roadways. I have since found out there's at least 8 cities around here that are in the process of putting a tax initiative on the ballot. I really think we should follow through on this. I think if we got it in the next couple of weeks, it could be on the November ballot, like a lot of the cities are doing. I agree with this because if we don't do it now, the state could step in and take the last chunk that we should be entitled to. Their high-speed train is going into debt, and that's why I'm so concerned is they might try to add a tax, and we might lose out. I think we should go for the tax as soon as possible. I don't think we should wait. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next, we have Miss Lucy Liu.
Good evening. I'm here early because the weeks are falling kind of weird this month, so I'm reminding everybody next Thursday is our neighborhood watch meeting. It is at Westminster Presbyterian Church, 9642 Live Oak Avenue, 5:30 to 7:30. Everybody is welcome. If you haven't been to one so far, please come out. Deputy Lamb puts on a great presentation on how to survive an active shooter incident. And Brian from the city puts on Stop the Bleed, goes through, you don't have to be in an active shooter situation to necessarily use some of those skills. Anything can happen in life. So great food, great company, it's great atmosphere. We have a lot of people that are, ask questions and really get engaged in this event. So we welcome everybody to come, and hopefully we'll see Mayor Pro Tem Chavez there next
should be
Thursday.
Mayor Fish, if you don't mind, how long have we been doing this now? How many years? Is it our
We're on
seventh year?
Year 8. Yeah,
And
year 8.
it's even more well attended than it ever has been. The subject matter is very, very, very good, very topical, and, I want to just thank you and everyone who puts a lot of work into this. I know Captain's here, and of course, Brian, and we have our veterans here are always here. Right? So thank you so much for all the work that you guys do, and it's a good program. I think we kind of take it for granted almost now, but people still come out,
Yes, they do.
we see a lot of new faces, and I hope it never happens, but we're going to be prepared. I think
Yes,
much
yes.
more so than many cities will be.
I'm biased, I think so, but, I think we also want to thank the city for wanting to do this and, working in collaboration with the sheriffs, because when I go out and I talk about our neighborhood watch program, people are like, wow, that's so neat. I wish I lived in your city. I said, well, nothing's stopping, well, actually, no, I take that back. Yes, there's some roadblocks, but you can, if you're nearby, come on to one of our meetings. If you want to start one on your, in your own area, come learn what we do, because we do have, thanks to our Temple team, they're awesome. Again, I'm biased, but you know what? But on a separate note, I have 30 seconds just to remind everybody, and this has nothing to do with Neighborhood Watch, between May 1st and June 10th, if you donate platelets with the American Red Cross, you get a $5 Amazon gift card. It's not a lot considering the 2 hours or so that you're going to be giving, but considering you can possibly save 2 to 3 lives, most importantly, for a cost near and dear to my heart, you can possibly help 2 to 3 cancer patients who are going through chemotherapy by donating platelets. So please consider making an appointment. If you have an afternoon free, go to the Pasadena Donation Center. They're open 7 days, various hours to accommodate people. It is about a 2-hour event, but again, the reward is you're helping somebody, you're saving someone's lives. Okay, thank you.
Lucy, can you give blood for platelets if you've traveled internationally in a year?
Yes, yes.
Because I know you can't for blood to be used for a transfusion.
Actually, no. I read up on that. You can't donate blood if you lived in Europe, especially Great Britain, the UK, during the 1980s when they had the mad cow. Other than that, when you look at the eligibility, it doesn't really stop you. Now, the good thing about, the other benefit about donating blood is, we do test your blood, and if we find something wrong, we'll send you a letter to let you know, and then that's when, if you haven't seen a doctor, that's a good idea. That's when you need to go see a doctor. Yeah. But unless we tell you we can't take your blood, you're good to go.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. And Jerry, remind me, you do videotape the Neighborhood Watch, right? So it's available on TempleCityPhotos.com. For anyone who misses the meetings, you can go back if you would like to see the subject matter.
I'm
No
just
tacos, though.
No tacos, though.
I'm just curious, they've been on,
Pictures of tacos.
I guess it's the third Thursday of the month, right? For third Thursday of the month for, I don't know, quite at least 3 years. Have they ever thought about maybe rotating the day for those of us who on the third Thursday of the month can't make it?
I think the reason why we picked the third Thursday is because there could be other events that are going on.
In the schools or?
Yeah, so third Thursday seems to be a safe date because people have asked. I think for a few years, we alternated between Wednesdays and Thursdays. It's also because of the facility availability.
Okay.
So, that's one of the reasons why we actually have to use Liefeld Park a few times this year versus more so this year than before, is because, first of all, we've outgrown some of the facilities, which is great. Secondly is because the availability of the facilities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comments? I'm going to close public comments and move on to item 7, consent calendar. All consent calendar items may be approved in a single motion as recommended unless removed for further discussion.
Motion to approve?
Mayor Fish, I would like to remove item F.
Which one?
F.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve excluding item F?
Sure. Make a motion to approve, except item F.
Second.
Can I get a roll call?
Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Councilmember Sternquist?
Just have a question. Do I need to abstain from that?
Really?
you do.
for F. Yeah. But we're doing,
Since it's not before you right now, you'll have to exclude yourself from the vote once they have the discussion.
Okay. So go ahead, you can
So
finish
I
this
can
one.
make the motion?
Yeah.
You can make the motion on the consent calendar.
Because F has been pulled, and that's the one where the conflict
Okay.
exists, then you can make the motion
Okay.
and vote on A through E, G, and H.
Perfect, okay.
So yes.
Yes.
Okay,
So William, you made a second?
yeah, and then
yeah.
I
And
think
now we're
she
doing
was in
roll
the
call.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez,
Yes.
Mayor Fish,
Yes. Okay, now you can, now she recuses herself.
She now,
Okay,
she
yes,
needs to
so-
approve.
And just for the benefit of the public, what would happen is because this is on consent and there wouldn't normally be a discussion, we would allow the council member with the conflict to stay and simply abstain from the vote. But because there'll be a discussion, I have to ask the council member to recuse herself, leave the room, and then I'll come get you when the discussion is finished. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Sorry,
thank
Cindy.
you.
Don't go too far. Okay, so I simply ask that this matter be removed from the consent calendar because I know that Mr. Foles is here this evening and perhaps give him the opportunity to come up and introduce himself, maybe tell us a little bit about himself and his company. And I know Kathy, we've got the report before us and if anything that she wants to say, so welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a real privilege to be selected to work on this park in your downtown area, brand new park.
Thank you.
It won't be very big, but I know already that there's lots of expectations that it's going to be a very nice park. And I think we can also rework that parking lot so that it all works together, and hopefully it'll enhance, the parking lot will be used to enhance the park. So we're working with our civil engineer to put the two things together. My firm designs parks all over California. I've been doing this for 25 years. All of my clients are public agencies, so we only do parks, some street work, a couple schools. But parks are our passion, and that's what we love to do. We're going to do outreach in the community and find out what the folks up and down that street and also just in the neighborhood would like to see in this little park. And then we'll try to figure out a design that will work for them. We're going to come back and with a couple of alternatives after we hear from them at an initial meeting, and then ask them what alternative they like the best. And then we'll refine that, and I think we're going to go through the commission and eventually come back to you with a plan that I hope the community will unanimously support. We usually get very good feedback. It's usually a fun process as a park. It should be fun.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to a great opportunity here with all those big trees and stuff. We'll just work those into the plan, so it's going to be fun.
Can you give us any
process.
examples of maybe some parks in the area that you've worked on and done close by or
Sure.
come to mind? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
West Covina, we opened the soccer fields in West Covina. We won a nice award for that park last year. We're doing several parks for Glendale.
Okay.
North Verdugo Park, we're working on that. If you know where all those California sycamores are, up in that area of the park, we're going to redo some walkways there. In Glendale, we also did Cerritos Park and Maryland Park, both won awards and they're pretty close to the same size as what we're looking at here. Both of those parks were the result of nice outreach with the community.
Great.
The people told us what they wanted. At Maryland Park, which is right off Brand Avenue there, their main street in Glendale, the people that came to the outreach, wanted to recognize the tropical historic aspects of the neighborhood there, because it used to be a different city before at the turn of the century. So we incorporated a lot of fruit labels and those kinds of things in the artwork in the park, and so it's really a special place. And I'm thinking we're going to get some of that kind of flavor and interest and ideas from your downtown area. I'm hoping that when we do the outreach, we'll get something that'll make it unique and really Temple City-like.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for coming tonight.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Do we have any other council comments? No? Can I get a motion?
I would make a motion that we approve item F on the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Can I roll call, please?
Councilmember Mann,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez.
Yes.
Mayor Fish.
Yes. Okay, movie moves. I'm just waiting for Councilmember Sternquist.
Just ran left.
I hope she didn't go home. Thank you. Okay, we're going to continue to item 8, public hearing none, unfinished business none, new business none, update from city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Fish and members of the council. 3 quick updates. Our legislation, SB 324, that's being carried by State Senator Rubio, passed on unanimously through the State Senate last week and is on to the State Assembly. That would enable us to utilize funds that we have not been able to utilize for the past 15, 20 years in our landscape and lighting district to see improvements,
Very exciting.
which would accumulate it's about a $2.5 billion fund balance, which we are not able to utilize right now, and we will be able to utilize for median improvements and other things that are in the public right away. So we'll see how that, and again, eliminate the subsidy that we have in the general fund that's subsidizing the landscape and lighting district right now. It's exciting news going forward.
So that's going to the assembly now?
That is going to the assembly. I haven't looked at the updates from the state legislature, but once that's scheduled, it'll be online and we'll be able to track what's going on. Good. Thanks to Senator Rubio's staff as well, who's been very easy and delightful to work with. Second is our latest issue of Connect will be hitting the streets soon. Rec Connect is out online. You'll see a revamped Connect with some interesting features and articles. We focused on it being very Temple City centric. One of the issues we had before is we're kind of struggling to find Temple City centric type stories. You're going to see some profiles of some local residents and architecture and other things that are interesting in and around town. Lastly, you may have seen posted at city facilities an ADA survey. We are going through in conjunction and partnership, both financially and operationally with the California Joint Powers and Insurance Authority. We are going through our ADA review of all of our facilities. That does not mean that we are violating the Americans for Disabilities Act. We are just doing what is required to study those. So there is a survey online. It's on the website for those individuals who use our facilities, frequent our City Hall and Live Oak Art Park and other facilities throughout town. Please take a look. If you are so inclined, you can participate in that survey anonymously.
And how long does that survey run for?
That survey will run, I'll have to get that, I think at least a month, but I'm not sure when we'll close it. I'll find that out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's it for my updates, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Update from our city attorney.
Thank you. 1 or 2 meetings ago, the issue of the recent T-Mobile versus City and County of San Francisco case came up. This had to do with cities being able to adopt aesthetic conditions for the siting of wireless communication facilities in the public right-of-way. The court's easy conclusion that's really nice for all of us is that local jurisdictions do have the authority to establish aesthetic conditions for land uses, including wireless facilities. If you dig a bit deeper on this, you see that the city of San Francisco was not simply saying that they had the right to regulate the aesthetics. They made a very complex and very detailed ordinance that had 2 areas of the city in which aesthetics were able to win out over wireless siting. Those were historic districts and areas that had, quote, good or excellent views or that were adjacent to parks and open space. In historic districts, the city would limit or would regulate wireless facilities if the planning department determined that they would significantly degrade the aesthetic attributes that were the basis for the designation of the historic district. So take a historic district of San Francisco that you like. If putting a wireless facility there would degrade the look, then they would deny the permit for it and require it to be brought back in a more aesthetically pleasing way. Similarly, in districts that were called view districts, again, next to parks, next to open space, or that had unobstructed views of certain things like Alcatraz, Coit Tower, other San Francisco landmarks, the proposed installation could not significantly impair the protected view. Could impair other views, but not the protected view. We think that the court's while the court's language upholding our right to use aesthetics to regulate wireless is on the surface good for all of us, I think if we want to do that in a city like Temple City, we need to do what San Francisco did and pick clear areas where some of the more historic neighborhoods near parks, other areas that we want to protect the view shed for one reason or another. We can't simply say that wireless facilities can't degrade the overall aesthetic. We have to have findings. We have to make it specific and tailored to certain areas of the city. Otherwise, we're going to be found to be overbroad. And the court did note that the Public Utilities Commission can step in if we are being overbroad and trying to overregulate wireless facilities.
So isn't the court sort of kind of setting conditions or precedent this way, and would argue then next that if you don't have these types of things, and you're kind of out of luck? And it would be hard for me to imagine us having any historic areas and or views that are going to be impeded. Although I suppose a view of the lovely San Gabriel Mountains could suffice perhaps.
Certainly.
But if they get to that tall.
You could go views of the mountains. You could probably set it up with a view down Rosemead Boulevard, given the enhancements that you've made to the boulevard, not wanting to have wireless facilities impeding that view. Something like that, that again was specific and tailored to a certain area for reasons that were called out in the ordinance.
So this is to guide us a little bit on next time we have someone coming and asking to put a cell tower up?
Well,
Or how's this gonna play out?
This was asked by, I believe, Councilmember Yu, but also Councilmember Mann had known that the case had come out. With the zoning code update coming through, one of the things that you will no doubt be hearing about from members of the public is what can we do about the rollout of wireless. We don't want to overregulate aesthetics, but if regulating aesthetics is something that you might be interested in, and I see some heads nodding, that's certainly something we can think about as we begin bringing this to you. And even if it's not in the general update, once we get the update done, we can talk some more about aesthetics and bring that back later.
And was this an appellate court decision?
This was the California Supreme Court.
Supreme Court, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I guess, and part of the reason I had asked them, I forgot which meeting it was, is with wireless technology kind of advancing at this rapid pace, at some point the infrastructure has to change to accommodate or allow for that type of development. So do we as a municipality allow the industry to dictate those standards, or do we try to understand what direction that's headed towards so that maybe we can be a step ahead of that game?
I think we should be a step ahead, especially since we're going to be bringing up revitalizing our downtown. It might be something good, something that we could discuss beforehand, just so that we know exactly what we're headed for. I would like to know myself some examples of what some other cities have done as far as regulating that, because it seems kind of broad, no view of the mountains. That's kind of broad.
View of the mountains be pretty broad. If you did something like, again, like San
That's what I'm
Francisco,
saying.
where you said any view of the mountains from Live Oak Park or from,
Correct.
Temple City Park, now you've got something more specific, more tailored. People gather at Live Oak Park, the view of the mountains is important. Can't just be view of the mountains anywhere in the city. You're right.
So we're talking about cell towers?
We're talking about cell towers, which is actually interesting.
How's a
because-
cell tower going to impede the view of Live Oak Park? One cell
No,
tower?
it would impede the view of the mountains from Live
Okay.
Oak Park.
All right.
If you were to put it up.
The trees, the fake trees.
The fake trees. And that would cause them to move it 100 feet to the left or right, and then they'd go up anyway. The other thing that we should be talking about in the near future is the rollout of small cells. I'll work with your city manager on that, and we'll bring that back to you. That'll require some other code updates that we can work on. We'll probably, I know we haven't heard about it yet, but small cells are also rolling out on light poles, street lights, within the public right-of-way. This is all new as of April, so working out the regulations for that will be something that we'll look at in the next couple months and get that back to you as well.
So can we do both?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I
And
think,
probably at
I'm
the same
looking,
time as
everybody
best.
seems to think that that's be a good
Sure.
idea to do both. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Did you have anything else?
I did.
Okay, thank you. We're going to be moving on to council reports regarding ad hocs, our standing committees. I just wanted to say first that I have asked our city manager to schedule our school district and a city standing committee as soon as possible. Does anyone?
Do we know who's on the school board
No, we do
standing
not.
committee at this time?
No, we do not.
We don't?
No.
Mm.
Did it change recently? Or we just don't know who's on it?
We just don't know.
Oh.
You're right, it may have not changed. Did anyone have any reports?
I don't have any.
No? Okay. Item 14, council items separate from the city manager's regular report. Let's start off with Councilmember Mann.
Thank you, Mayor Fish. I just want to say we had a wonderful volunteer appreciation luncheon on, was it the Saturday before that. Yeah, it's a lot going on. But it was amazing. It was,
Great, it was wonderful.
I think staff, or Parks and Rec staff, everyone did an amazing job. Fiesta theme, had a live mariachi band, great food, great drinks, and of course, it's always great I think it's wonderful to be able to show our volunteers how much they mean to us, how much they mean to the city, and really they make so many things run well, and I remember Mr. Lawson had shared some numbers about,
Three full-time employees.
yeah, the equivalent, the hours that they contribute is equivalent to so many full-time employees, and it's just incredible what a collective effort, and that's what I really appreciate about living here is having so many people who dedicate their hearts, their souls, and their time to make our city a better place. And also just when Mr. Cook, you mentioned the revamped Connect magazine. I recall that we had talked about this, but you know how we have that annual report for the Parks and Recreation one? And maybe, I don't know why I didn't notice this before, but I noticed that the setup, the style, the way it's organized looks very much like Connect. And I think that's great because it kind of, there's sort of like a cohesive identity to everything that we're publishing, printing, that's official, coming from the city. So I think that was a nice touch to kind of have that unified theme going on. So I just want to commend you and commend staff for putting that together. And last but not least, I just want to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day coming up. Thank you, Mayor Fish.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilmember Sternquist.
Yes, I had the opportunity to attend the SCAG Regional General Assembly, and the topic was called Beyond Boundaries. It basically brought 191 different city representatives together, and most of the focus was on how to provide more traffic safety in the region, how to get from one city to another and do it safely. It seems every city is facing more and more issues with traffic. Traffic in the cities providing more and more impediments to the roads because they're being used so much. And it seems like every city, the number one issue was traffic on a regional issue, like trying to get from LA to downtown LA going east, or coming from the west side coming to LA. No matter where you went, everybody said the congestion is just horrific. And as a region, it was like the number one issue that Californians complain about. Not smog, obviously not the weather, but about traffic, about spending so much time in traffic and how it takes away so much from family time, from it really presents for a lot of people just stress because they're driving 2 hours to work and sometimes 2 hours back. So it was an interesting conference. Much of the, I guess, the success of trying to reduce traffic in the Los Angeles area or from here to San Bernardino is obviously to use technology. So a lot of the conference was built around ideas from students involved in using technology in creative ways to see how they could reduce traffic. So each, there was about 10 presentations, and each student group from various colleges, from SE, UCLA, Cal Poly Pomona, they each had 15 minutes to present on their use of technology to help reduce traffic. And they were very, very interesting and very, very different. So
What would be an example of technology improving traffic?
for example, if you're on the 10 freeway and you're going to go from here, say, I'm just using an example, like if I went to downtown LA, you can use that pass thing that you put in your car, so, and it'll tell you you get to pay a certain amount if it's a certain time of day, depending on the amount of traffic there is. Fast track.
But that's already been used.
Right, but I mean, that's an example, you said, of how they would use
But
technology.
no, one of the ones that the new students
Oh,
came
so,
up
I mean, they were so varied, from eliminating fast track altogether to people actually having and some of the new vehicles have already had this, so there's actually, instead of having something like a fast track, you would actually have it in your, kind of like a Bluetooth thing, where you would get alternative routes that would pop up. So if you're going a certain direction and there's a ton of traffic, maybe like how Waze has, where you can see congestion, but you actually have to look at your thing. So this would be built into the automobile so that it could just sense through kind of like a Sirius radio type of thing. I mean, it was.
So in other words, it tells you to avoid this area because it's
And,
congested.
and you can
It
take
gives you
an
an alternate route.
route. So that was one of the presentations, but they were very, very
Were there any
varied.
presentations from like Metro or those organizations that actually have a day-to-day, cause as far as traffic? Because I would think that technology is great, but unless people start using it in alternative ways, I mean, it's great to know where the traffic is, but you still have cars on the road. And that's the problem. Maybe they should use, other than, using mass transit or Uber or things that we've looked at. Was there any discussion on that?
No, they didn't have discussion on that, but I will share with you one of the things that is so interesting, and I wanted to share it with the youth committee because I've been telling them that, transportation is the future. If you're looking for a position in a field that is going to pay well and is going to be sustainable for another, 40 years, you should look into transportation. But LA Metro is in the process of building a transit high school, and it's in South Central LA, and they're building it on a piece of land that the city donated to Metro. And so in 2020, the first class, the freshman class, will be in. It's basically a high school based on transportation. So all the studies around math and everything will be in the industry with, people from Metro, New York, all over, places that have great big rapid transit. And they will have professors and teachers come. And so in 4 years, they will actually have like the first graduating class in 2024.
Is it a college or a high school?
It's a high school.
So what kind of degree do
And
you
they
get
will
out of it?
actually dorm there. Well, they'll get a regular high school degree, kind of like the Cal State has the School of the Arts and Duarte, where it's a high school and you take regular classes, but the emphasis is on transportation. And then once these students graduate from the transit high school, they will be in a position to become interns while in college, earning a bachelor with LA Metro, which is a wonderful opportunity. But they call it the blue hairs, that in the next 10 years, there'll be so many seniors leaving the transit industry because of retirement age. So they'll need a huge influx to keep replacing. They call them
Blue
blue hairs. I don't know, does anybody know why that's called blue hair?
Because
mean-
the ladies dye,
Never heard that term before.
Because what?
ladies dye their hair blue?
Because ladies dye their hair blue? I don't know, but
I don't know.
that's what
That's old
the
school.
woman, but
Sorry.
anyway, I have her name and I will get that to you, but they referenced it a little bit at the college and
Cool.
they were saying maybe
I think that's
the
awesome.
future for transportation is going to come out of the students who are in this high school. And you can Google LA Metro Transit High School and they'll have all the information. They have the plans of the building and they're actually going to be able to dorm there also, which is pretty cool.
South Central LA?
It's in South Central LA,
Okay.
in a very interesting location,
They got a
but
piece of- they got a piece of property.
they
so-
got a piece of property and
they
they
do.
have grants to build the facility there. So it was really interesting. I mean, whenever you get 191 elected officials together during lunch, it's always very interesting. Sometimes the issues or problems you think you have in your own communities really pale by what some other communities have in predominantly public safety.
Was there a keynote speaker?
There was. It was a woman, I cannot think of her name, but basically she wrote a book called Beyond Boundaries. It's a really interesting book and about how she, as like at 13 years old, went to Russia and lived with a Russian family. And they were so poor. And when they were, she stayed there for 3 months, and when she was getting ready to leave, she said that the mother came up to her and said, would you think it would be okay to leave your toothpaste with us? Because they were so poor, but it was how she learned so much from this family who opened up their home to her and were so hospitable, and it's a really interesting thing. But if you Google
Nice.
Beyond Boundaries, you'll see her, and she was a keynote speaker. Very inspiring about how you look beyond the obvious and how connecting with people that you wouldn't normally meet, that's how the world opens up, and that's how it broadens. So in respect to cities, open up your doors to your neighboring cities and see how you can work together, and then even furthermore, see how you can work within a region. So it was really
Was
inspiring.
anybody from El Monte there for that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And they were very cordial.
Good.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
Just a couple of things. Want to wish everybody that's Miss Temple City this Saturday, I believe?
Yes.
But
6
First
o'clock.
Baptist.
First Baptist, yes.
This Saturday, so good luck to all the contestants. I know they have a whole bunch of contestants
14.
this year, 14, so that's
The most they've had in a
That's
very long
really
time.
good, so I'm glad to see the program doing well. And just to give a shout out, Councilmember Sternquist mentioned our youth committee. They are having their final meeting of the year on May 28th at 5 o'clock. We'll start with the meeting in here, and then I believe there'll be a little reception. It's a Tuesday, I believe, and there'll be a reception following. Everyone's invited. It'll be a good opportunity not only to congratulate this year's youth committee, but also to meet many of the hopefully new applicants for next year. We usually invite them to come and intermingle with everyone. So everyone's invited. I know Peggy and Jillian are putting together a good program, so, as they
When's
always
the
do.
deadline to apply?
I think
for
it's the end of May. Yeah,
End of May?
End of
Okay.
May.
And appointments in July?
And appointments, we'll probably do the interviews in June and shortly thereafter.
And we have quite a few openings,
Yes, we
right?
should have 7 openings this year.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah, we have 7 seniors
And
graduating.
how many?
10 will
Wow,
serve,
that's
so.
That's really great.
Assuming assuming the 3 who are set to return will be returning, we'll have 7 openings. So
Yeah.
that'd be a good opportunity at this time, right? We've had a lot of interest, of course, and we'll see. One of the things I should mention, I went to the Doug Sears Learning Center open house last Thursday. Fortunately, it was on the same day as a lot of other things were going on, so I did mention to them the youth committee, and they were really interested, and we're going to get some applications over there to their students as well,
Oh,
to
nice.
see if they're interested in any local government issues. So that's a good thing. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and happy Mother's Day, too. Not
Thank
only our
you.
2 moms and 3 moms up here on the dais, but everyone else out there, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. I just have a couple things. We already mentioned our Miss Temple City pageant, which again is this Saturday at First Baptist Church. Also on May 18th is our very first senior prom, which I am so excited about, but I'll be away at a conference. I'm just excited to see how it's gonna go. I know
That's
it's
a
gonna be the first
Friday
time.
during the day, I think, isn't it?
No, it's a
Is it
Saturday.
night?
It's a Saturday night,
Oh, Saturday night. Oh, okay.
Saturday night,
Do we
so.
know how many people have registered for that? Any, Kathy? Not
Okay,
too
well,
many,
I'm
so we
pushing-
need
I'm
some
pushing
people.
it.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, no.
can you wait till Thursday when I have my women's club meeting? Okay, thank you. And I would like to congratulate Kathy on her retirement after 32 years. Thank you, Kathy.
are we clapping because you are retiring,
No,
or
we're
because we're
clapping
going to miss you?
she gets
Oh,
to.
just want to make sure.
Because she gets to. I know for myself, it's going on 15 years that I've been working with Kathy, and I just wanted, Kathy's one of the very first people that got me involved in the city, so thank you. Did a wonderful job. I've seen lots of changes in the Parks and Rec department, so you're gonna have a great retirement. That's all I can say.
Well,
But
her best testament was she's got 3 alumni sitting
You've
up
got
here
3
on the
past
council.
commissioners, so that's pretty good. So I wanted to congratulate you again. I
Kathy, and
think it's
we've
great.
worked together over 30 years,
Yeah,
right?
for you guys, forget it.
Yeah.
You guys
Long
have to
time.
get,
I remember when Kathy used to yell at me when I was the president of Little League.
okay. All right, so again, congratulations, Kathy. Okay, we're almost done. We're going to recess to the successor agency regular meeting for May 7th, 2019. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, agency member Mann,
Here?
agency member Sternquist,
Here?
Vice Chair Chavez.
Here.
Chair Fish.
Here. Do I need a motion to excuse?
Motion to excuse member you.
A second?
Thank you. Consent calendar?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Unfinished business, none. New business, none. Communications, none. Public comments? None. Update from executive director and agency council?
Actually, I do really quickly.
Oh.
This will be one of the last the ROPS that you'll see. After this, the county will be taking over the administration and winding down the agency, and the successor agency in and of itself won't be fully dissolved, but it will not be functioning in the same way that you have before. I think it's 2 more from now, or this will be the second. That'll also be the last one, right? Something like that in the next 2 or so.
So we're not going to have these meetings anymore?
You won't be having these
Gee, we're
meetings
going to miss
anymore.
them so much. Yeah.
Darn it.
Good time. That's it, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Matters from agency members? Okay, I'm going to adjourn and go back to our regular meeting. Item 16, additional public comments on items not listed on the agenda. Seeing none, I am going to adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Tom?